Alright guys, welcome to the late night show with the Kumars. The kids are sleeping, it is late, that's why it's a late night show. So today, we're going to be answering a really popular question. I've been asked this question hundreds and hundreds of times. Logesh, how did you marry an American?
So today we're going to try to answer that question for you. However, a little caveat here. We're not saying you have to date and marry an American. You can date whoever you want, but we're just saying that these points that we're gonna share with you worked perfectly for me. These things that Logesh did, honestly, made me fall head over heels in love with him. So, here we go. So the first thing is, do not treat a person differently because they are an American. One thing that I really appreciate about Logesh is that he didn't put me up on a pedestal or act like I was any better or worse than him for being American. I felt like his equal. And honestly guys, like at the end of the day, we're all part of the human race. It doesn't matter if we're from Malaysia or from America or whatever country. Like we're all humans and just treat one another with the same love and respect that you would your own family members.
Yeah, and initially I was like kind of nervous, like should I talk to her differently or what? So the first I guess couple of dates was kind of awkward, but then it got so much better when I was like, you know what? She's just like same as someone else, right? In that sense, like I mean, she's an amazing, awesome person. Don't get me wrong, I love her to bits, but in that sense, like I treat her the same that I would anyone else.
And the second thing is to embrace the local culture. For Logesh being a Malaysian living in America, he really was firmly planted in his Malaysian culture, but he did a really great job of learning to embrace the culture around him. He didn't just try to only Malaysian food or just Asian food in general. He would go out and explore the local cuisine, like biscuits and gravy and chicken and waffles, which is now one of his favorites.
Oh yeah.
Even just the way he talks here in America changes. He uses the slang here. He kind of has adjusted to our way of mannerisms.
Yeah.
And it's not that he's trying to be an American, it's that he's trying to be understood and fit in. So I love that he still has this firm Malaysianness about him, but he also has really learned to love and appreciate America.
Yeah, and a lot of people, you know, sometimes in Malaysia, they give me a hard time because like, why are you speaking that slang and that accent? And I do it here. When I go back to Malaysia, I'm back to like a la and all that. But when I do it here, I have to embrace local culture, you know, and that's very important because I can't just keep holding on to like all my culture and not embrace what's local, because there's so much beautifulness in American culture too that it also opens up my mind and experience to other things. So that helped to bridge the gap between our differences, right?
Yeah, it helped that we were both understanding of each other's cultures and that you were willing to learn and partake in some of the really awesome parts of America.
And the key thing of that is it helped each of us understand each other even better.
Yeah,
right? She started to understand me a little bit more about my culture, and I get to like, oh, that's why she wears shoes in the house.
I no longer wear shoes in the house.
No, we follow the Asian way. So I was like, but if I didn't embrace local culture, I would not have known why, right? So
the third thing is being willing to learn and ask questions. This kind of goes along with embracing the culture, but you know, there's a lot of things here in America that Logesh didn't fully understand. Honestly, I don't fully understand everything here, but being able to ask questions and learn makes a huge difference. For example, I took Logesh to an American wedding and he didn't know a lot of the customs. Why are they tossing the bouquet? What's a garter toss? And so it just was great that he was able to ask those questions and learn from that experience.
Yeah, they did some garter toss, bouquet toss, all those things, and I caught something, the garter.
Yeah, the garter.
And they said I'm gonna get married next. I was like, what? What's happening? So it's interesting, it's cool, but don't ever feel embarrassed to ask questions. You know, people usually think that, oh, if I'm asking a lot of questions, it makes me look stupid. It's the opposite. It makes you look actually interested, and it makes you look intelligent and smart because you want to get to know things that you don't know. So ask as many questions as you want, because I asked till today. Americans have so many idiosyncrasies. I'm constantly like, what does that mean? Like, I have no idea.
A lot of slang words you don't know, or
Yeah.
Way
Like
we say
the other
things.
day, just 2 days ago, I was asking Rachel's dad, like, what does dovetail mean? Dovetail, you know? And then he's giving me examples of like, how would you use that in a sentence? Like, whoa, okay, cool. Ask questions.
point number 4, and probably the most important point here. Know how to cook and how to use seasoning. You will blow any American's mind.
So this is a funny one, right? Because I used to not know how to cook, but I'm a Malaysian. Food is very, very important to me. And when I moved to America, I'm sorry to say this is not many good food here. And if you really want good food, you gotta pay a lot of money. So I'm like, the only way to eat good food is I gotta cook. So I called my mom, I called a lot of people back home, like learn their recipes, my friend's auntie and all that. So I learned how to cook. Fortunately, learned all this before asking Rachel out. So it came in handy, you know what I'm saying? Cause Americans, they haven't tasted good food, guys. They've not. I'm telling you, you give them that Malaysian food, they blow their mind. I'm telling you.
It's true.
Learn how to cook.
Number 5, recognizing that Americans come from an independent culture versus Malaysians coming from a more community-based culture. Neither's right or wrong, just different. And like, for example, for Americans, like myself, you have to plan things in advance. Before showing up at someone's house, you make an appointment. Usually it's a few days, if not weeks in advance. You think things are usually scheduled out. People are really protective of their time and space.
Yeah, and you guys from Malaysia, if you're watching, or Singapore, like, you know, we just show up in our friend's house. We don't call, text. So it's a different sort of like culture, right? And that's one of the biggest adjustments I had to make when I came here, because I thought like, here it's always like you're hanging out with friends, you're eating together, you know, more often than not, you're not doing that because people respect each other's time. They have their own personal space and time and things like that. So you need to understand when it's okay to show up and, you know, be around people. And even if you go to their house, there's a checkout time. Like, okay, you know, you gotta say goodbye at a certain time and give them their space back again. In Malaysia, you can stay all night, all day, you know, it goes on and on. So kind of like learn to know that limits. It's just different. Again, no one's right, no one's wrong. It's differences, right? Learn to respect each other, learn to embrace it.
Number 6 is recognizing your differences. This one's a huge one because no matter who you date or marry, you're 2 different people bringing 2 different perspectives into a relationship. You have different upbringings, you've lived different lives, you have different worldviews, and that's okay. That's actually really cool that you can come together, and sometimes you meet in the middle and create something new together, and sometimes you have to agree to disagree. There's no right or wrong when it comes to differences. It's just different.
Yeah. So we, more often than not, we have different opinions, but we talk about it. We wrestle through these questions, and then we come up to like either a middle ground or like one or the other, like, no, I think you're correct, or I think like, no, this point is correct, or whatever that could be. But it's fine. People need to understand, like, you don't always have to be right. You can always have differing opinions, and that's okay. Just respect each other. And more often than not, if it's an intercultural relationship, you're gonna have a lot of differing opinions. Like, it's gonna happen. I'm sorry to break it down to you, because very, very different upbringing, different backgrounds, experiences. So remember that's the key thing that you're bringing into the relationship.
Number 7, sometimes you need to sugarcoat things.
Oh, yeah.
Let me explain what that means. So Americans are not the most straightforward people sometimes, and this is speaking for myself. Some Americans are very blunt, but typically Americans will sugarcoat things. So, for example, my personal favorite, if I don't like something, I won't say, I don't like it. I'll say, it's not my favorite.
I don't think I've ever heard her say, I don't like something.
I have, but very rarely. Right? And so you just kind of add like a nice little twist on things so it doesn't sound as mean.
Yeah. So coming from an Asian background, we have no filter. At least I am. Like I don't stereotype all Asians are like that, but I have no filter. So if I don't like something, I'm gonna say I don't like that. Okay, but what I've learned is being in a relationship with an American, I need to sometimes be a little bit more nicer with my words. So rather than like I don't like that, like maybe I don't fancy that. Or maybe
I've never heard you say
I'm trying this. See, I'm not good at sugarcoating, dude. See? But you have to find different ways to like say things that otherwise you would sound kind of rude about.
It's still a work in progress, guys.
Yeah. But what she would say in that situation is like, oh, that's not my favorite. In my mind, I'm like, oh wow, that means there's hope. Could eventually be your favorite. No, actually, no, that means she doesn't like it.
Number 8. This is what Logesh did that really swept me off my feet and kind of hooked me for life, was he brought me back to his home country. He took me to Malaysia. And honestly, getting to see where he grew up, getting to meet his family, seeing the really awesome culture he's a part of, made me understand him more and really fully grasp what made him tick. Good example is he was always really obsessed with expiration dates on all of our food, like all the time. And it just kind of drove me a little crazy. Like, it's fine if the milk's a little overdue or the bread, whatever. And then I get to Malaysia and I realize that food spoils so easily that everyone is checking all the expiration dates. I'm like, oh, everyone here does this. Okay. Yeah. So it just helped me understand him more. But it's just even seeing him in his natural environment was really neat. I got to see like the pure 100% Logesh, and again, it just made me fall so in love with him.
And the one amazing thing about that happened when I brought her back to Malaysia was that I got to bring her back to my hometown, the place I grew up in. I got to bring her back to, to meet my friends and my family and everyone. So she got to not only meet everyone and see my hometown, but see how I interacted with them.
Yeah, that's a big part.
Yeah, so you get to learn so much more about each other, And so that's why till today we make it a priority. We try to go back to Malaysia at least once a year. It's important for not just Rachel and myself, but the kids. So that's a huge one. If you are trying to woo an American girl and you're living overseas, bring them back. Show them your food. Woo! And if they don't like your food, then maybe it's not gonna work out.
Probably not.
Probably not.
So guys, we're not trying to give you any guarantee that this is going to help you woo an American. However, this is what has worked for us in our relationship and honestly continues to help us in our marriage.
Fam, I hope you found value in this video. If there's something else that we could share with you guys that can bring more value to you, let us know down in the comment below. We'll create a video about that because this question was asked in the title, was asked so many times.
So many.
So we thought we'd just answer it. So let us know. And if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. Do not forget to subscribe. Like I said so many times, it really helps us in making way more videos for you guys. So please do it if you haven't already. I see you. The one who hasn't subscribed, just hit the button. Okay? Thank you. I love you. Bye.
Bye.